You are?
Yeah, I am.
It's got a nice ring to it.
It does have a nice ring to it. The head coach of the Sacramento Kings and former Sactown Sports afternoon host, Doug Christie. Doug, it's Dave and Jason. Good morning.
Yeah, it all sounds weird, man. How you doing, guys?
I know at first it sounded weird to you. Have you gotten used to it yet? Head coach of the Sacramento Kings, Doug Christie.
People call me a lot of things, Dave. I'm just saying. Yes. Absolutely, man. It's a true honor. Hi, Jason. The other guy, whatever, man. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. We were going to turn this over to Chris to have him talk to you, but we were afraid of all of that.
Well, listen, I said everything that I had to say to Chris personally when I called him just a few minutes ago, so his ears are full.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't repeat what he said to me.
Well, you deserved every single second of it. You're on your way, I believe, to leave on a jet plane where it'll be nice and balmy, all your road trip stops. So we'll get right to it, Doug. Listen, this first time we've talked to you since Media Day, and I'm not even going to try to hide from it. You know, you're our friend. We are not being journalists here, although we'll ask some journalistic questions. And after the first couple of weeks, we'd have some conversations internally. We're a little worried about our guy. Some of the, your press conferences, you can tell you're a slow burner. And and those first couple, we were worried your head was going to explode. What have you done? What have you changed since then to, I wouldn't say be more mellow or careless. That's not it. But to maintain so your head doesn't explode.
First of all, with Scott P and BJ upstairs, just a really good support staff. More than anything, man, it's coaching to the standard, and that's what I'm really trying to do. Is when you're trying to change culture and you're trying to set something, those times can be difficult for everybody involved, but it's what we are doing here in Sacramento. It's what we are going to accomplish here in Sacramento, and that can get a little bumpy. But I'm here for it, and we're going to make it happen.
Doug, I know you have said many times, and I know that from knowing you, this is what you want this team to be. You've said defense, rebounding, sharing the ball. Obviously, that hasn't been consistent this year with your squad, but can you do that? Can you achieve that with this current roster?
Yeah, because that's the accountability piece, and you have to make hard decisions, and you got to coach them to that, and make sure that is what we are standing on as a coaching staff, as a team, and as an organization. And it gets tough from night to night, and you're not going to be perfect at it. But the point is that is the basis and the cornerstone at which we will be built as we build a sustainable winner.
Doug, we've had Scott Perry on the show, and there have been questions about, well, who's controlling the rotations, and he's always been very clear that, look, he's judging everything, and obviously you as well. And how can you judge somebody if he's being told who to play and who not to play? So he's been very clear that although there are conversations, and he weighs in, that ultimately you're the head coach. You have full autonomy on who's playing and who's not, along with your team of coaches. Mm-hmm. So my question is, how do you look? You know the drill, and this team is 12-33. We wish they were 33-12, but they're not. How do you balance between, I want to win tonight, and also there's a large-scale plan at place, and I also want to develop the youth?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. And the first thing I would say is you cannot mistake on the youth. So we have to develop them. We're going to live with their mistakes. We're going to make sure that they're out there, and I think that you've seen that. The object, obviously, is to win the game. And ultimately, in my opinion, and I think that this is also, I shouldn't say I think, this is Scott's as well, is that the standard winning is the byproduct of playing to that. And I would agree. Any professional organization that has a winning culture and is sustained winning has pillars that allow them to say, this is who we are and this is what we do. And that, that's where, with the veterans and the different things, it's a mismatch sometimes of trying to find who's going to bring that energy, who's going to play, really hard, who's going to be on the defensive end, who's going to rebound the basketball, and that's where the rotations can sometimes get tricky. But with our young players, we're going to make sure that they get out there. There's no better way for them to develop than being thrown in the deep end of the water and telling them that they have to swim. Still supporting them, making sure that they're developed, player development-wise, going over things, showing them video, all of that. And it's a beautiful thing also to watch them develop in front of your eyes. They're going to have, ups and downs, and we understand that. But the whole point is to develop them and support them along their journey at the same time as trying to win ball games.
Doug, you talk about the standard that you're trying to achieve for this team and this organization. This year, the way it's gone, there have been let-ups in a game for whatever reason. Last night, look, it's going well. Third quarter happens, and it just kind of falls off a little bit. Is it tougher for you to take as a coach when maybe the standard drops or those moments happen and maybe the veterans are out there? Is that a tougher one to see them kind of have it happen to them?
Even when I look at last night, I put that one on me personally. But, it is because, the standard is there, and we have to reach that, and we have to coach them to that. And it's the toughest part to go away as a coach. And these are things that I'm learning as I continue to go. Because everything, in my opinion, is my fault. So when I'm watching the film, I'm like, I should have done this. I could have done that. And, hindsight is a monster, but it's where I live at. And I want to be the best for them. And I want to make sure that I put them in the best positions to be successful and win based upon that standard. To answer your question, Jason, that's the part that just rips my heart out. But it's what, I have to go through and live with that on a day-to-day and night-to-night basis that makes it incredibly hard to sleep in a lot of different things. But I am a glutton for punishment.
Doug Christie joining us on Sactown Sports. Doug, it's obviously you're juggling, but it's a lot easier said than done. So I do have a rotation question. I know one of your standards, very important. This is from when you were a player here, is defense and hustle. And we asked you at media day, hey, look, you had mentioned that, hey, if guys aren't going to hold themselves to the standards, they're not going to play. And we wondered, okay, that's easier said than done. Is that going to come to fruition if it does during the season with our higher paid or longer term vets? And you said it in the post game about Zach LaVine a couple days ago, not to pick on him, but it's recent. He was scoring, but you said we needed to stop somebody. And that's a very obvious allusion to, hey, we needed better defense. So for me, I find myself wondering, you're developing Cardwell, you're developing Nick Clifford, you're Max Reno, obviously. Keon Ellis and especially Devin Carter, as much as you can, help me with the rotation issues with them, especially when they fit one of your big pillars.
Yeah, sometimes it's obviously difficult to, guys will find a game, whether that's a little bit offensively, if they're, part of it is you're working on the defensive end. You don't want to be the sieve in that with straight line drives and things like that. And, when Keon was out for a few games and then, he was back. So, one thing that you don't want to do is you don't also want to, those guys have found a rhythm for themselves, and you have to respect that at the same time. They have won 4 games, they're finding their rhythm, and you're hoping in your mind that they figure that out. And in moments when they don't, then you have to make subs. But when you talk about, 12, 13 deep, that's a whole different animal than even 10 deep is hard sometimes. So, unfortunately, those guys have been out of the rotation. Malik has played some really good basketball. And at the point guard position, obviously we got Russ and we got Dennis there. So, it gets tough. You want to play them all, but, there just aren't enough minutes to go around, and some guys are out, and that's just how it happens when you're the coach and, everybody's like, I want to play, but everybody can't play.
Well, Doug, I'm sure there was when camp started, you didn't even know what you had in a guy in Dylan Cardwell. That would be one of the success stories. Now, as a two-way guy, he's come in, obviously brought a great vibe and great feel to the game for the home fans, but now he's giving you production. What do you think you have in him now and maybe where his future can go?
With Dylan, first of all, it's just an honor and a privilege to coach a kid like that. He does everything that you ask as a coach, everything that we are as an organization, from standards and pillars. Like he totally is that. He brings, when we first came, a lot of my coaches were like, "Oh man, you're in love when we're in summertime," and I was like, "Yeah, I am," because in my opinion, and Scott and those guys, as we scouted him and ultimately got him, you're looking at a kid that not everybody will say can play in the NBA because, it's not the jump shot and the offense and the flash and all of that stuff. But he has an NBA skill right now. He's a grown man. He is strong. He is competitive. He protects the paint. He plays with energy. He gives multiple efforts on the defensive end. He will jump for a rebound, dive on a loose ball, get up, sprint the floor, communicate at a high level. So all of those things for me jumped out right away. And, how long it was going to take him to kind of get the feel of it, the G League has been marvelous for him. And I think that he went down there, and Will and his staff with Big Max down there, they have done an incredible job with working with him, making sure that he's prepared, giving him the minutes and the opportunity. And then when he came here, he was a lot after the first stint. He was a lot more ready, put him in the game, and I think that you guys can see he affects winning. He truly does. That type of rim protection helps your perimeter, and it allows guys on the perimeter to be a little bit more aggressive. Now we begin to win the possession game. He's going to get offensive rebounds. That's part of the possession game. You're going to turn people over. That's the other part of the possession game. And all of a sudden, he's affecting winning. So a big fan and super excited that he's in a Kings uniform.
A couple more for Doug Christie on his way to the airport as the Kings begin a long road trip. All right, Doug, as we begin to wrap up, I want to put you on hiatus as the Kings head coach and welcome you back to Sactown Sports. And what I mean by that is I want to rely on analyst Doug Christie here, rookie coach. Still, last year, this year, but, what would you say, and I know this is going to be the tougher one of the two-parter, what would you say you found to be your biggest strength this year as a head coach? And also, I don't want to say failure, but what have you struggled with or what do you need to get better at?
I would say the first part of that is probably the leadership aspect. I consider myself a leader, and just the ability to galvanize them and continue to bring them together. I think that's part of, and that goes with communication at the same time. Never perfect in those areas, but I think that that's a big area that I'm pretty good at. As far as the coaching aspect, I would say part of it is the ability to continuously coach to that standard, because you make mistakes, but do you grab them right away? Is it 2? Is it 3? And there's a fairness in there that I know that as a player they feel, and that all of that for me eats at my heart, because there's a purity in the game that I subscribe to. I want it to be done in a certain way, and that's the way that Scott sees it, and the organization as far as who Sacramento Kings players are going to be, what they subscribe to, and the product that is delivered on the court. And just trying to find that balance of making sure that I'm on top of that. Like, in my opinion, last night I didn't do as good a job. It's never personal. It's always about winning. It's about the organization and making sure that we deliver a product that the fans can be proud of.
Doug, you talk about the challenges you have to go through doing this for the first time. You've got one other opportunity coming up for the first time is a trade deadline. You've been through it as a player. That's always a challenge. People just get worried where they're going to be shipped off. They don't know. Well, now you're a coach, and you're coaching this group, and this group could be the same team you have in 2 weeks, but it also could have a different face or multiple different faces. Just, I know you don't know who's going to be dealt, if anyone, but just what is your thought entering that, knowing that you might have a few different guys come February 6th?
That one is interesting because there's a dynamic and an energy that can be affected by, some guys who don't maybe take that the same way, meaning the trade deadline. But it's tough. I mean, more than anything, Jay, you just control the things that you can control. The guys that are here, we're going to love them and coach them and pour into them 100% every day. And if a trade happens, then we adapt and we figure out what we got, and then we plug in. And that's where having a standard helps, because when you bring the guys in, it's like, this is what we do here, this is how we get down, and then they know what it is. As far as Dave, we'll probably trade him for the sports day.
Why'd I get a shot at? Why not Chris? What'd I do? I've been nice. Jeez.
No, Chris is as bad as he is, he's great. And Jason, as terrible as he's spectacular. You, on the other hand, my friend, yeah.
You're gone.
What
Dave.
did I
You're
do?
gone.
I'm like 50 Cent in that meme. What'd I do, man? All right. Well, they're telling us we have to wrap up, and that's a great note to wrap up on too. By the way,
Dave's gone.
like asking nice questions and stuff. All right. Well, Doug, look, we appreciate you joining us. Hey, you weren't talking about me when you got mad at that press conference, were you?
Did it sound like I was talking about you?
I had like 3 people say it was me, but then a bunch of other people said it was somebody else.
I want to pretend it was Dave.
I told him it was you.
Who was somebody else?
Well, I can't say, yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. Doug Christie joined us. You can check that out on YouTube. Hey, safe travels, my man. We appreciate your time, and have a good one. Say hi to the fam.
Hey, man, love you guys. Go Kings.
Go Kings.
Thanks,
Take
Doug.
care. It's Doug Christie. What'd I do?
Well, last show, Dave. It is your last show.
Chris got
I know.
what is that? I just
See?
I take a shot at the end? Nothing? We'll take a break.
Way to go, Doug.
when we come back.